There ain't no fixing Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane issues. Pooh Shiesty, once off the label, like again, by force, by coercion, or Gucci Mane could just do it an easy way. But Gucci is thinking he could reconcile. Pooh Shiesty is at a point.
Pooh Shiesty is reportedly in serious danger after word spread that Gucci Mane allegedly sent his top hitters to get his stolen property back the hard way. What was supposed to be a triumphant return quickly spiraled into one of the ugliest breakups hip-hop has seen in years. And now, according to the streets, Gucci Mane is looking to reclaim his respect at any cost. So let's break down exactly how everything went off the rails and why people are saying this version of Gucci isn't the one we used to know. Pooh Shiesty is a Memphis, Tennessee rapper who first caught mainstream attention with Back in Blood alongside Lil Durk. Born Lentrell Donald Williams Jr., he was raised in the heart of Memphis, where survival meant choosing between hustling or becoming a statistic. Coming up in South Memphis, Pooh Shiesty had to move carefully in an environment where loyalty was law and disrespect could get you killed. His family was deeply rooted in the streets, and he learned early that respect isn't handed out, you earn it. During his upbringing, Memphis was on fire with internal beefs, cliques clashing, and young dudes hungry to make a name for themselves. His cousin, Big Scar, was right there with him, and the two were close like real brothers, always watching each other's backs in those unforgiving streets. The Memphis scene wasn't like anywhere else. It was gritty, raw, and deadly serious. Pooh Shiesty soaked all of that in and poured it straight into his music, but he never forgot his roots or the street code he grew up on. He understood early that in Memphis, your word is everything, and once you break it, the consequences can be fatal. On the other side, Gucci Mane had already built a powerhouse in Atlanta, turning 1017 into one of the South's most respected labels. He was known for spotting uncut talent and transforming them into stars, but he was also known for being unforgiving when he felt crossed. As Pooh Shiesty's career was gaining momentum, his family was hit with devastating news. His cousin, Big Scar, who was also signed to Gucci Mane's 1017 label, passed away suddenly. This wasn't just business, this was blood. And in Memphis, blood means everything. From Pooh Shiesty's perspective, when family passes, you're supposed to show up fully and make sure they're honored properly. But listen, this is where the situation turned ugly. According to Big Scar's relatives, when they contacted Gucci Mane for help with the funeral costs, the response fell far short of expectations. They alleged Gucci only sent $10,000 for flowers and claimed he couldn't cover the funeral because his wife's birthday was coming up. For a millionaire mogul, that explanation felt like pure disrespect to the family. Big Scar's people took to social media and went straight at Gucci Mane, accusing him of blocking calls and dodging responsibility. They were heated, calling him fake and saying Big Scar deserved way better than that treatment. Family members were saying things like, "10,000 is nothing," and "my brother was worth far more than that." All of this left a sour taste in Pooh Shiesty's mouth, because this wasn't industry drama to him, it was personal. He felt Gucci Mane disrespected his blood when they were at their lowest point. In Memphis culture, when someone passes, the entire community is expected to rally together. So for Gucci Mane to appear unwilling to fully cover the funeral of his own artist was seen as a serious violation. And to make matters worse, around that same time, Gucci Mane was also publicly clashing with Big 30 in social media comment sections. He was throwing slick shots and moving like he was untouchable. All of that behavior was quietly stacking resentment, and Pooh Shiesty was keeping track of every single move. He started noticing a clear pattern of Gucci Mane failing to show real respect to Memphis artists, and that didn't sit right with him at all. This wasn't just about money anymore, this was about principle. When you sign artists to your label, they're supposed to become family, and family is meant to be protected and respected. From Pooh Shiesty's point of view, Gucci Mane was treating Memphis artists like they were disposable, and that kind of energy always comes around. Despite all the tension surrounding Big Scar's funeral, when Pooh Shiesty finally came home from his legal situation, Gucci Mane was one of the first to publicly show him love. On the surface, it looked like everything was smooth between them. Gucci Mane posted about Pooh Shiesty's return, and fans thought the 1017 camp was about to deliver some crazy collaborations. But behind closed doors, Pooh Shiesty wasn't rocking with Gucci Mane the way he used to. The Big Scar situation permanently changed how he looked at his relationship with 1017. While locked up, Pooh Shiesty had plenty of time to replay everything that had gone down. And when he came home, his mindset about the music industry was completely different. See, during that time away, he really had the space to evaluate his position in the game. He realized he was already a millionaire with his own money, his own connections, and a fan base that would ride with him regardless. So the real question became, what could Gucci Mane actually do for him that he couldn't already do himself? That's when Pooh Shiesty started approaching the business side from a whole new angle. Instead of splitting his earnings, he started thinking about taking his full percentage and cutting out a label he felt didn't respect him or his family. He had already proven he could make hits, the streets were solidly behind him, and he no longer needed anyone guiding his every move. So when Gucci Mane reached out about re-signing or collaborating on new projects, Pooh Shiesty wasn't rushing to say yes like before. He was moving differently now, more strategic, and Gucci Mane immediately felt that shift in energy. The streets started talking too, saying Pooh Shiesty had outgrown 1017 and didn't need them anymore. Other labels were reaching out, offering stronger deals, and more importantly, more respect. Yo Gotti's CMG was especially interested, which made perfect sense given their Memphis roots and shared understanding of the culture.
At the same time, Pooh Shiesty was hearing whispers that Gucci Mane had been speaking slickly about Memphis artists overall. He was allegedly acting like they should feel lucky just to be associated with 1017. That kind of arrogance doesn't sit well with someone who came from the trenches and earned everything the hard way. So in just a few months, Pooh Shiesty went from being a loyal 1017 artist to questioning the entire relationship. He had reached a level where he could make his own decisions, and that independence threatened Gucci Mane's control. But just as Pooh Shiesty was enjoying that freedom and plotting his next move, things took a sharp turn. He ended up face to face with the very man who helped launch his career. On a day nobody expected, Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane linked up in the studio to talk business. What should have been a simple discussion about their future quickly became personal and intense. According to people close to the situation, Gucci Mane was pushing hard for Pooh Shiesty to stay with 1017. He was likely offering better terms and more money, but Pooh Shiesty wasn't interested at all. His mind was already made up about going independent, and no offer on the table was going to change that. Things heated up when Gucci Mane started bringing up loyalty and reminding him who gave him his first big opportunity. He probably expected gratitude and compliance like he'd gotten from artists before. But Pooh Shiesty snapped back, bringing up the Big Scar situation and how his family was treated during their darkest moment. That's when the conversation crossed a line. What started as words quickly threatened to turn physical. The argument escalated when Pooh Shiesty told Gucci Mane he wasn't the same person he used to be. He accused him of going soft and losing touch with the culture that made him who he was. The tension in that room was heavy, and everyone could feel something was about to explode. Gucci Mane's security was present, but they were outnumbered by Pooh Shiesty's people who came with him. And before anyone could calm things down, Pooh Shiesty and his crew made a move that instantly stunned everyone inside the room. They allegedly ran Gucci Mane right there in the studio, snatching his wedding band and his high-end watch while his own security stood frozen. This wasn't just about jewelry. Taking a man's wedding ring is deeply personal. That ring represents his marriage, his loyalty, and his respect. And when you strip that away, you're sending a message that cuts far deeper than money ever could. You're saying this man isn't untouchable, that he can be violated like anyone else. The whole situation unfolded so fast that even Gucci Mane's security couldn't react in time. When you're outnumbered, caught slipping, and boxed into a tight space, sometimes survival is the only priority. Pooh Shiesty never denied that something went down, but his reasoning was straightforward. In his mind, Gucci Mane had it coming. From Pooh Shiesty's perspective, the disrespect started with how Big Scar's situation was handled, and this was him settling that score in the only language he believed Gucci Mane truly understood. On top of the robbery itself, now Gucci Mane had to deal with the humiliation of it happening in front of witnesses, people who would absolutely talk. The streets started buzzing immediately, and the story spread fast across social media in the hip-hop world. But what really hurt Gucci Mane was what this moment exposed. Fans began saying this wasn't the same Gucci Mane they grew up watching. The old Gucci Mane would have responded completely differently. That version would have slid on Pooh Shiesty instantly, no hesitation, no second thoughts. But this newer Gucci Mane, the married, business-focused, more calculated version, was moving differently. Instead of reacting on impulse, he was weighing his next move, and that hesitation made people start questioning whether he'd lost his edge. The streets were talking heavily about it. They said the old Gucci Mane would have had shooters outside Pooh Shiesty's door that very night, ready to handle things the traditional way. But according to people close to the situation, Gucci Mane had another plan. Word started circulating that he'd already sent instructions to his top shooters. He just wanted it handled clean and done right. Not long after, insiders from Gucci Mane's camp said he was more enraged by the disrespect than the stolen items. Getting robbed in your own studio, in front of your own people, is the ultimate violation. And the wedding ring made it even worse. That involved his wife, and once family gets pulled into street matters, there's no undoing that. Gucci Mane was reportedly telling people Pooh Shiesty had made this personal, and now it had to be treated as such. Social media went into a frenzy. Some people backed Pooh Shiesty for standing on business over his family. Others said he made a massive mistake robbing someone with Gucci Mane's power and reach. How Gucci Mane responded became a test of his street reputation. Even with all his growth as a man and mogul, the street still expected a certain response. Losing the ring and watch wasn't about material value. It was about respect, image, and position. Letting this slide would signal that Gucci Mane could be touched, and no street legend wants that label attached to their name. What made the situation even more complicated was that Pooh Shiesty did have real grievances. The way Big Scar's funeral was handled genuinely hurt his family, and from their point of view, this was retaliation for that pain. But the streets have rules. You don't rob your former boss in your own studio and expect zero consequences. That line was crossed, and once crossed, there's no going back. Now, both sides were locked into a situation that only had bad endings on the table. The real tragedy is that all of this could have been avoided. Better communication early on might have stopped everything. If Big Scar's situation had been handled with more care and respect, none of this would exist. Unfortunately, the public may never learn how this truly gets resolved. It could go legal, it could go to the street, or maybe it ends with a sit-down. But one thing is undeniable. This beef permanently altered the relationship between these two figures. Industry insiders were reportedly trying to mediate. They knew both sides had too much to lose, but when respect and family are involved, compromise becomes difficult. The streets are watching closely. Whatever happens next will shape how both Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty are remembered. Will Gucci Mane prove he still has that old energy, or will he handle it strictly through business? At the end of the day, both men have families and legacies. Hopefully cooler heads win. But history shows that when respect is tested in hip-hop, anything is possible. Even in 2026, the streets still have rules, and mixing business with personal pain almost always leads to dangerous outcomes.